guys, I'm Nikki and welcome. Today we're going back to the 90s, February 27th of 1997, when Brenda Condon vanished from her bartending job in Spring Township, Pennsylvania, and she has never been seen or heard from since. There is absolutely no forensic evidence in this case, and she vanished, literally leaving her boots behind, and that's it. So yeah, let's get into this case. It's very strange and mysterious. Brenda Condon was a 28-year-old divorcee, mother of two. She actually left her children in the divorce with the custody of her ex-husband, but remained very close and dedicated to her children. She never missed a visitation. She spent time with them. There's lots of pictures. She was still close with them. Even though that she left them there with the ex-husband, they still had a good relationship, her and her ex-husband. After the divorce, she actually meets a man and moves in with him. His name is Greg Palazzari. So you want to keep Greg in mind because he will return later at the end of the story. Brenda was working at a bar called Carlsbad Tavern. Don't you love the name of that bar? I really do. Carlsbad Tavern was a small little highway bar. It was a very rural area, and they had the regulars that came in, but they also had the highway people that came in, truckers and just people traveling, stopped to have a drink. And this night that she went missing, it was a very slow night, and so there were very few people there, and so when she did disappear, they were able to question everybody. Brenda also had been running her own cleaning business, where she went around and cleaned houses. She'd only been at the bartending job for 2 weeks, and apparently she was working a lot because she actually closed the bar the night she disappeared and was scheduled to work at 10 a.m. So she was hustling, a hard-working bitch, that's what I say. So on February 27th of 1991, Brenda clocks in at her bartending position and goes on with her evening. She has a normal evening. As I said, it was a really slow night. Brenda was last seen between 12:45 and 1:15 a.m. on February 27th. The next day, her co-workers and a cigarette vendor came, and the business was wide open, the music was still on, and Brenda was nowhere to be found. The cigarette vendor went on with his business, loading the cigarette machines, and left. Not knowing anything. Her co-workers come and think it's odd that this is the way it is, but they don't report her missing until later that night. As a matter of fact, they wait for 17 hours before she is reported missing. And as a matter of fact, they didn't even start to do a ground search till 3 days later, which is just ridiculous. They had assumed that Brenda possibly had taken off and wanted some time away and didn't even bother to search for her. So if she was abducted, she was long gone. There's very little evidence left of Brenda or the incident of her leaving, except for her car is left abandoned and unlocked in the parking lot of the bar, and her pair of leather boots that is reported that is the only pair of boots that she took to work that day is neatly placed in the bathroom stall. Not in the women's bathroom, but in the men's bathroom stall. So that's a huge, huge red flag. Now, was that her only pair of shoes? It's reported that it was, so I don't know. But she could have had a pair of tennis shoes, who knows. But that's the reports. You know, I don't know. That'll be one of the questions. I wonder what you think. Only 3 days later, when she doesn't pick her children up for visitation like she always did, she never missed a visitation with her kids. Her kids sat and waited for her. Actually, the whole day, she never showed up. finally, the police start to search. And it was a really hard search. There was a lot of snow, but they got the dogs out. They got helicopters out. They did deep dives. They searched and searched and searched, and there was absolutely positively no sign of Brenda, which does not surprise me at all because they waited 3 days. The police were left completely baffled. They have no idea what she did, if she left, who left. So they do the canvassing of the bar, and they find every man and woman that had been in the bar that night, except for 3 men that Brenda had actually talked to, which is a normal thing because she's the bartender. She would talk to every single person in there. The 3 men that they are in search of, and still are to this day, are 3 white males. The first patron is described as 38 to 40 years old, 6'2", wearing a bright blue button-down jean jacket and jeans. The second was 25 to 30 years old, 5'8", wearing a black leather coat, white button-down shirt and jeans. And the third man was approximately 50 years old and 5'8", wearing a dark-colored jacket, dark slacks, and brown plaid shirt. These 3 men are not suspects, but they are wanted in just some questioning. They want to know if they know anything, they saw anything. And it's kind of mysterious that they haven't came forward in 29 years. But then on the other hand, these people could just have been somebody that was driving down the highway, pulled over to have a few drinks, and left. Brenda's family says there's no way that she would have left her kids. There's no way. Brenda's husband was totally cleared. He was actually had an alibi with his sister and that they were moving. I think other people seen him also. The only other sort of suspect, person of interest, sort of, but he's actually been cleared at this point, was her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, Greg Palazzari, was a well-known drug dealer. He dealt a lot of cocaine during the 90s and even into the 2000s. A recent girlfriend of Greg's has been interviewed, and she said that he always lived with a lot of guilt and would wake up with nightmares about Brenda. Now, that's not a sign of guilt necessarily. That's also just a sign of survivor's guilt, actually. But Greg in 2014 was busted and sent to prison for manufacturing and delivering controlled substance. He was still dealing drugs from 1991 all the way to 2014. So he was a pretty prolific drug dealer. So that's a big question in there because Rick was known to move large amounts and also known to gamble and have a lot of debt, supposedly, drug debt. Now, did a drug dealer come and get Brenda and jerk her out of her boots, or maybe leave her boots in the men's bathroom as a signal? It's really odd. The boot thing has really got me thrown off. Because honestly, that could have been Brenda's sign of saying, hey, I'm leaving, take my boots. I mean, here they are in the men's bathroom. That could have also been as someone else signaling, because the police seem to think the boots were just strategically put in the men's bathroom in a orderly fashion. So that's a real big issue with the cops, but there's nothing left. There was no robbery. They didn't rob her. So that's another, like me, I'm going, did she leave? I'm so torn in this case. It is completely cold. Nobody's ever heard or seen Brenda. And you know what? There are plenty of people that have left their responsibilities and not came back. People think that Brenda wouldn't leave, and police literally have no evidence, no clue of nothing. So it's a super mysterious case. Very odd. Wonder what y'all think about it. Personally, I'm very torn. I'm sort of leaning towards she left. That's probably not what a family member wants to hear. It may not be. Also, there's a huge possibility that Greg owed somebody money and they kidnapped and killed her to prove a point to Greg, and this is the reason that he had so much guilt. But there's a lot of rumors that are flying around about this, and it's 29 years of unanswered questions for their family. But there have been quite a few known cases. People have done it many, many times that drop off the face of the earth and they don't want to be contacted. And in 1991, that's a huge, you could do that in 1991. There was not anything back then. You could go off the grid and buy and change your identity and easily be gone. So that's a possibility. And then of course there is the 3 men from the bar. So they never came back. But I don't really think, I think those were just passer-throughs. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being naive, but I kind of think that those were just passer-throughs. Why would they leave her boots? I don't get why they would place her boots right there. That's what's throwing me off. What in the world were the boots doing in the bathroom? And why were they I mean, I could see flung, but there was no sign of a struggle, no robbery, no nothing. So, that's Brenda Condon's story. Pretty short and sweet. If you have any information, please call the Pennsylvania State Police. I'm going to leave links down below to help you do some research for yourself. I'm curious what you think. Do you think Brenda left? Do you think she was kidnapped? Do you think her boyfriend had something to do with it? Her ex-husband had something to do with it? All these people have been cleared, by the way. Just want to say that out loud. Anyways, thanks for watching this interesting video about Brenda Condon. And I am working on another video that y'all may like, Kyron Horman. And so that one will be coming soon. And I thank y'all so much for subscribing. We are at 450, over 450 now. So I'm really happy. And I'm so glad y'all are watching the videos. This is really exciting to be able to share these stories, these mysteries with y'all. And I truly appreciate y'all watching it. Me, just little old me. And old is what is the big word. So I will see y'all later. Take care. Be careful. And come back next time.